No questions? Oh, well.
Oh, there's a microphone coming your way.
Question for the Minister, thank you. Will there be any reduction in the shellfish take? I'm talking about power, potentially.
We have to look at the state of the fisheries, and as you know, we make decisions based on information and research. At this stage, I haven't got anything in front of me that suggests otherwise, but officials will continually put reports with recommendations based on evidence, and we've got to make. I'm adamant that we've got to make decisions on any increase or reduction based on the evidence that we find. Whereabouts are you from? Oh, here, okay.
My name's Jim Michaels, Recreational Marine Fish Association, Wellington. For years I've been on committees, 40 years on government committees, and the biggest problem we see is the Fisheries Act has a principle that defines is the impact of fisheries on the environment. Well, in actual fact, it's the impact of the environment on the fisheries. With land runoff, pollution, sewage and dumping in 20 metres of water. It's the fact that we're destroying the fishery, so you're not understanding the impact on the fishery.
Is there a question?
I don't think there's an answer. I don't think in the short term there's an answer. You've got to reword the Resource Management Act so we manage the environment to protect our fishery.
Look, can I give you an example in Hawke Bay, which is where I'm from Naked. The abundance of inshore fisheries has dropped considerably, but we're not too sure why. There's 10 million tonnes of silt every year that flows into Hawke Bay due to the fact that a decent amount of the hills around the area have been deforested. The regional council is trying to address that, but we don't know if it's due to overfishing, we don't know if it's due to silt, we don't know if it's due to fertiliser runoff that's killing the fisheries. And what we need to do is get a whole lot more research before we can make informed decisions, because we all have an idea. It might be climate change, it might be silt, it might be overfishing. But until we actually know what's causing the situation, it may just be the fish have decided to go offshore a little bit further. But who knows? And until we actually understand the relationship between the environment and the changes we have made to the environment and the impact that's having on fisheries, certainly inshore fisheries, it's hard to come up with clear, definitive management strategies.
I think, Minister, you need to get a more understanding, because in the last 20 years I have predicted 8 times when marine mammals will beach themselves. That's on the fact of understanding the environment. So we need to get a better understanding of what's causing it. And I can tell them when and where marine mammals will beach themselves 8 times.
I'm not arguing with you on the fact that we need better information to make informed management decisions.
Yes, Minister, Keith Ingram, President of the New Zealand Recreational Fishing Council. Welcome to your new job. I'd just like to cast us back a wee bit when Randall was earlier talking about the Moyle Promise. One thing about us old fossils who've been around a long time, we learn the lessons of past. The Moyle Promise came about during the upheaval in the quota management system when Maori was about to take the government to court. And the recreational fishing sector, namely the Recreational Fishing Council and the Rotorua Accord, were with Maori. Government at that point, Minister Moyle, came out with the Moyle Promise. What that effectively did was separate the recreational sector away from Maori at that time. A mistake, I know, but we learn from our mistakes. But it did separate us. My question to you, Minister, is, now that you are back in government, as the Labor government, when are you going to honour the Moyle Promise?
Well, look, there are 2 things I would say. First of all, I've only been a minister for about 6 weeks, but I have a lot of ideas about what I want to do that I just can't talk about tonight, but believe me, I haven't been sitting my hands not thinking about things and how to do things. The other thing I would like to say is, and I didn't know Sir Mark's story about the management of the Kaikoura fisheries, but I'd be keen to know more about how, as recreational, community, commercial, and iwi, we really can all work together to get what we want. Because in the end, we all actually have a common vision. We all want sustainable fisheries and an abundance of fish in our sea. And I don't think that there needs to be an inherent conflict between any of those groups if we get it right. One thing I would say, in the way we're looking at things and the conversations I'm having with officials and those within the industry, is we recognise that there does need to be change. But it's just what that change looks like. And you know, when I talk about Brand New Zealand and what that stands for, I'm deadly serious in the sense that we need to ensure that whatever we do with our fisheries is aligned to our global brand of sustainability. And I was saying to Sir Mark that, you know, I love that Maori term, kaitiakitanga, about stewardship. And what it says is none of us own anything. We're all here just to look after and make sure that we return, or that when we leave, what we have been part of is just as good, if not better, than it was when we arrived. And I really, and call me an idealist, but I really don't think there needs to be an inherent conflict between those who have a stakeholding in our fisheries. And you know, when Sir Mark talked about you know, the first right is actually to the sea. If we start from that principle, I think we can all move forward and find common ground. And you know, we will have some debates, of that there is no doubt, and there will be some disagreement on how we get there. That's just natural. If we all agreed on every single thing, then you know, we've got Bob here, we've got Randall, he disagreed. But we all agree on the same thing about what we want. And that's why I absolutely agree, believe, that we must find a way to work together to come up with common goals and objectives, and then strategies on how to get there.
Question for the sports break fishing guy. Given the guy on the end there, over there, Bob, yeah, g'day Bob. Given the huge and obvious benefits that a proportional allocation would make to the relationship between the commercial and recreational fishing sectors, why don't you support it? And if you back your claims about the amount of tax that you as a sector pay, just ask the government to pay when you need to compensate commercial fishers for an increase in their allocation.
I can answer that. Barry, have you got something?
Yeah, hi, Minister. Yeah, most definitely like to speak to the question of proportional allocation and its attractiveness, superficial attractiveness, and pick up.
Put the microphone up to you.
Sorry, mate, and pick up on Keith's point about learning lessons. We can learn lessons from our past, we can learn lessons from other people's experience as well. And the experience with catch shares, fixed proportional catch shares, is a calamity where it's been used. You might say that Western Australia is an example that is still a mine, but the clock's ticking. The extensive work that was done in the federal fisheries in the US, where in federal fisheries there was mandatory catch share programs put in place. These had caused such a destruction in social and economic terms that there's now an act in front of Congress called the Modernisation of Recreational Fisheries Management Bill. And its purpose is to unwind these schemes, because what they have found, and we will find if we go down the same road, is that they are so inflexible that it prevents management strategies that make the wisest and best use of the resources available. And that's why we'll pick and back the Minister to make a judgment, receiving all the information, because he is the only one operating in the national interest. Everybody else is working to their sector interest. But the Minister is charged with the national interest. And we'll back him each time. And proportional representation